Yo, what is good, guys? I have some exciting news to share with you guys. We are going to be doing a contest where you can win studio monitors and Audio Technica headphones. And the way you win this contest is by purchasing one of our stickers. The boy looking at professional in that, man. When we got stickers now, it's just sick, man. The growth is here. You'll purchase one of these stickers. Whoever can stick it in the most wildest place. Disclaimer: I don't approve of vandalizing other businesses or city. But I know you guys can still stick it in some crazy places. And the way I'll be judging this is, I won't be judging it, but I will have like three other judges that, aren't biased. And you guys are going to have to do something crazy, man. I don't know, but I already know you guys are getting ideas. But I just wanted to, at the same time, give back to the community. I remember being a starving artist. I still am a starving artist, but just like a low budget artist, not being able to buy my own laptop, not being able to buy my own studio monitors and headphones. Some people still have earbuds. And I will be announcing the winner on March 11th at 5 p.m. on my Instagram Live. Oh yeah, and how you purchase these stickers is right now we don't have a website, but just direct messaging me into one of my social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, etc. And if you're out of town and you're not in the Yakima area, it's fine. I will be mailing these out to anyone that's out of town, Seattle, Portland, Wenatchee, etc. And the stickers will be going for $5 for one, or four of them for $15. Like I said, I appreciate all of you guys. And I'm not requiring you guys to tag or repost this, but I do appreciate if you guys do tag other artists that, could, benefit from this. And also, these are first edition stickers. After this, I'm not printing these logos no more. I'm going to be printing out other stickers for the Galaxii Boii Productions, but these are first edition, limited edition. These are more of like a badge of honor for like the people who were here first, But yeah, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Love you guys. Best of luck to you guys, and let's get this, man.
I would see my enemies or once enemies, and I would see them freezing their ass off with their girl in line, right? Can't get in. They're at the end of the line. Like, I would tell the security, like, hey, you see that dude and his girl and his, yeah, go get him for me and tell him that Blaze has got a VIP table for him.
Oh, no shit.
Well, they're obviously thinking Blaze from Hot 99.7.
Yeah.
My old enemy, they don't know that yet.
Yeah.
They come around the corner, they come in, they're like, what table right there? And I'm like, what's up, guys? Come sit here. And like, they'd almost like have a heart attack because they'd recognize me like, what the, like, we were enemies and you're giving us this VIP table?
Yeah.
It's yours, bro. It was mine. You can have it.
At a different time, you guys were trying to kill each other.
At a different time. I've had my little brothers who are like 4 or 5 years younger than me running with me since they were like 10, 6, 7, 8. But finally at 10, now they're running with us up and down, and they're watching what we're doing with the alcohol and the weed and the drugs. And I didn't realize that later it would come back to haunt me. It wouldn't happen until I leave in 99. Well, I leave in 99. And the Stone Kings are still trying to do their thing with my brother Magic and Big Rask, but they start bumping heads. Big Rask is not really feeling my brother's voice and flow, and he hadn't have his skill down yet. So they started going at odds, but I'm over here trying to figure out what I'm going to do, right? And I joined the Radio Broadcasting and TV Academy in the east side of Phoenix and west side of Phoenix, sorry. I was living in the east side of Phoenix, but I had to travel across town to get to it. Now, this is a major city, so it's like a 40-hour drive every day to do this thing.
40-hour drive?
No, minute. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of my 40-minute drive.
Oh, you scared me.
Yeah, my bad.
God,
I'm
damn.
thinking too fast. 40-minute drive to get from one side to the other side. And this is after I pulled off a 10-hour shift at work. You know what I mean? I was just at a point finally there that I was going to do this shit, or I'm not going home until I do something. There's no point in me coming all the way over here to do nothing. So I had a pretty decent, good job paying well, but I didn't want to do that shit either for the rest of my life, right? And I'm like, I got to go do this. So after 10-hour shifts, I would go pull off a 4 or 5 hour school shift too, And that drive, you're falling asleep behind the wheel, and I'm about to kill myself with all this traffic. I mean, and you got to remember, it's 115 degrees out there with no AC in the hoopty, so you're going to pass out. You're just so tired. That heat, man, jeez. But I survived that, and finally my brother tells me, like, yo, I'm just going to part ways with Big Rask. He's kind of basically booted me out of this shit anyway, and me and my brother Magic had a fallout because of that. He just kind of felt like I didn't care, and I gave the power to Rask. And it wasn't that I gave the power to Rask. What had happened was Rask had called me while I was out there, and he told me he was going to get serious. He was going to buy a drum machine, which he does. I'm going to get a MPC, the sick stuff, bro. Like, I keep put his mouth where his money should be. You know, I was like, yo, I'm going to invest, and he does. So not that I give him the power, but I give him the green light to, like, yo, head this shit, because it sounds like you're really taking this serious, and Magic is still just writing rhymes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need beats somewhere. We need, a studio. We need a booth. We need a microphone. We need this and that. And Rask was the one who was willing to take that up. So at that point, him and Magic fall out, and then Magic's, me and him kind of have a fallout because of it, because we had been writing that Stone Kings thing for about 3-4 years before that happens. About 2-3 years, sorry. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to start a new rap group. I'm like, okay, make it happen. He's like, and you know what? It's going to be called CTM. And I'm like, well, we're already CTM, so cool. You know what I mean? I was just like, perfect. CTM music group or whatever, CTM rap, whatever we're going to be. Yeah. He's like, nah, bro, we're going to change it to Chasing the Money. And I was in love with it, bro. I was in love with that. I was like, hell yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? And so.
And you're still in Phoenix.
I'm still in Phoenix when this happens. And my brother Magic, because he saw how this guy got his equipment, he's like, well, I'm going to get some equipment too. How? I don't know.
Dope. Inspire another one.
Inspiring, bro. Like, again, you take that negative and you let it fuel you. You can do that. And he ends up, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to put him on blast. Let's just say he comes up with a lump sum of money. He just somehow ends up with some money in his hands. And I can't even believe the number. I'm like, whatever, right? I'm like, whatever you say. He's like, watch, bitch, when you come home, because I was pretty much wrapping up, graduating, and I had plans to come home. Fuck Phoenix, it's too hot, and I had been through some shit over there myself.
Yeah.
So I come home, and here he is with this big old Yamaha digital board, to record, shit. Bro. I'm like, whoa, this fucking thing. You got this. I told you I was going to figure out get it. And sure enough, big old school board. I mean, we're talking, this is still 2002, when I come back.
Yamaha's a really good brand.
Absolutely. I mean, this thing.
$500,000.
This piece is probably $3,000, bro. $5,000 or something. It's like that total production studio. You know what I mean? He told me, when I went to go get it, I told him, I want to record songs, mix down and master. And which one is that one? That one right there. It went from the miniature, the medium, and that big old one the size of your TV. He got that one, dude. No, and I couldn't even believe this motherfucker, because I made a fefew trips home before I officially moved home. And we're now recording in his bathroom, in his living room. And I don't know how to really rap yet. I didn't have time to do none of that. But I always kind of helped him with the choruses and the hooks. You know what I mean? So I started there. And that's how Chasing the Money would be born. My brother breaks away from the Stone Kings thing. And like, I'm going to start chasing the money, which was obviously music to my ears. And I eventually would touch down home about 02, I would get home, and we start rapping our asses off. More him than me. Yeah. He'd already had like another 2 homies that he kind of brought along, and he had told me, man, I think these guys would be dope. I know they didn't grow up in CTM with us, but I think you should listen to them. And because the CTM thing, like I said, is a family now, you know what I mean? And after all the gang shit for a decade, like, it just, all right, we don't do that no more. We're fucking,
rebranded.
Yeah, and we're just done. We lived that life. Like, everybody finally, and it was good. It was such a good and bad feeling that all these people who knew us and started all this shit 10 years later would be like, hey, bro, we're grown now, man. We let's be friends. And we're just like, that's all the fuck we ever wanted to be with y'all, right? But it's funny how that would come full circle, and that would heal me, actually, in a way. Because when I come home, I didn't know how I was going to navigate being on the radio and then being out in public and still trying to get this beef on me, right? But I'd already developed something in my head that, bro, if you want beef, let's go. It ain't going to be me bringing it, you know what I mean? Because I'm on a whole nother level. But if you want chingazos, let's go, homie.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to sit here and let you punk me, you know? Like, that's just insane.
Yeah.
I never will like that, though, but I'm just not going to let nobody punk me, you know?
Yeah.
Especially after it's been happening, like, 10 years, I leave, I come back, I'm ready to, like, transform my whole life and stuff and really chase this radio thing I thought I could do. And so I do, and as people, you know, people don't really know it's me because it's radio. You're hearing my voice, but you don't know it's David Blaze from Toppin's, you know what I mean? And from Elm Street, and the guy you guys been talking and beefing with all these years. And it wouldn't be till I would start like showing up like at Pete's and the clubs and hosting those things that.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And it's funny because I would kill. To this day, I still kill people with kindness. It's so amazing what that does to people. And I would see my enemies or once enemies, and I would see them freezing their ass off with their girl in line. Right, can't get in. They're at the end of the line. Like, I'll tell the security, like, hey, you see that dude and his girl and his go get him for me and tell him that Blaze has got a VIP table for him.
Oh, no shit.
Well, they're obviously thinking Blaze from Hot 99.7.
Yeah.
My old enemy, they don't know that yet.
Yeah.
They come around the corner, they come in, they're like, what table right there? And I'm like, what's up, guys? Come sit here. And like, they'd almost like have a heart attack because they'd recognize me like, what the, like, we were enemies and you're giving us this VIP table?
Yeah.
It's yours, bro. It was mine. You can have it.
At a different time, you guys were trying to kill each other.
At a different time. And so anything can change, man. I want the streets to understand, man, that somebody's got to break that cycle, bro. Somebody's got to break it. And trust me, I talk to a lot of people who are in gangs who like have lost a lot of family members to it. And I'm like, but how are you going to stop it? Everything you've been doing to this day ain't stopped it. You got to break that, man. You know what I mean? But it's tough when you lose family members or somebody's been killed in your family because of it. That's hard. That's something hard to forgive. But I'll tell you what, it's possible. You know what I mean? I forgave all my enemies. You know what I'm saying? Whether they almost killed me or didn't or whatever, I forgave them, bro. I have no bad bone in my body for those people because I know we were lost at a time. And we never had no big homie to be like, yo, carnalito, this is what's going to result from this. Unfortunately, time will pass eventually, a lot of years, and then people will start growing out of it. But the ones who did it, man, I still pray for them, bro, because they're strung out or still gangbanging. And I'm just like, dog, ain't you like 45? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be an OG and be down. I'm not saying don't let people punk you and think less of you in some sort of way. But I also feel like you don't got to be the one leading the charge anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know better, dog. Like, you've lost a lot of people. There's people in the pinta that are not going to come home because of this shit. And it's like, so there's no win-win out of this no more. Like, you got to break this chain. And, you know, I always kind of leave people with that. You know what I mean? Like, when you're ready to break that chain, bro, and that cycle, if you need my help in any sort of way, let me know. You know what I mean? And, because it's just a self-destruction, bro. It's the best, worst thing for us. It's best for the government, the police, because they don't got to police us no more when you're dead, right? Like, you've been buried now. I don't got to worry about fucking Fulano no more. He's gone. He was a pain in the ass. We got to lock him up every weekend and shit, you know, and now he's gone. So we're not doing ourselves any favors, man. I just continue to think about all the heartache that shit caused. And still, you know, I know moms to this day who have lost their kids, and they still cry. They still cry, you know, and I just hug them and tell them, hey, man, it's okay. It's okay. It's going to be okay. They're with you. But that's where Chasing the Money would officially take off. At about 2001, my brother would create it. I get home about 2002, and he had this board and mixer, and he's got a mic, even a badass Audio Technica. Man, that mic was probably like $400 or $500.
Goddamn.
I fell in love with it so much, I ended up buying myself one, and I still use that mic to this day in my studio. Oh yeah, I've had it for 15 years now or something like that, and it still works. I love it. So that's how Chasing the Money would be created through a fallout from the Stone Kings, and I would come back home, and I would be a part of that, and we just took off. The two new guys he had, Gilly and Bibles, man, they were dope too. You know, I just like, wow, we were all inspired. And then I dropped like my first written flow one night because they ain't never heard me rap. They're like, well, if he's got to hear us rap, when do we get to hear Blaze rap? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, tonight, bitches, tonight. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to go fucking lay this shit on y'all. And I did. It was probably one of my first verses I ever wrote, and they were blown away. I was blown away. But I think when you're in the room trying to prove something, that's when the best game comes out of you, right? It's like basketball, like, yo, until when you get on that court, you see that defender, you're like, how am I going to get around? I'm going to clown this guy. And we would become Chasing the Money for many years after that, man. And I would develop the mixtape scene here in Yakima. No one was doing mixtapes until I did it. And the cool thing about it is I was doing mixtape stuff, and it was helping me learn how to do production because I brought basically what I learned at the radio broadcasting and brought it home, and I would learn to run Adobe 1.0 for the next 5 years and then keep growing. But my brother would do, I told him, man, why don't we start getting like serious about some album stuff? Like you have the way better mixer, you know how to use it better than what I'm doing. Let's stick to letting me do just like the hardcore street raps and you do like the album stuff, start creating an album. And so now we're like doing both. We're creating music at my house and at his house, bro. And it was like our job. We end up making like, I think I've probably produced like 10, 12 mixtapes, bro, in my lifetime. Yeah. And he produced like 4 or 5 albums and we would kind of perform both as we would continue to grow. And people were like, yo, you guys are for real. Like, yo, can you guys come perform? And we would do a little bit of both. And shout out to our boy Pre, who lives in Toppenish too. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he became a dope beat maker, and my brother Magic would go get beats from him, and he was kind of like our official, he didn't know, but our official in-house producer. Like Magic would go to him to get those particular album beats. But not only that, we just got to a point where like, yo, we want to create stuff that we can perform. You know what I mean? Like, that hardcore rap is cute, but it's not fun for the people. And then we just kind of started changing the game in that direction, bro. We were kind of like the first people who started having like the fun tempo stuff, and we would eventually bring a singer. Shout out to my brother Tommy. Tommy Rico would be our singer. He saw us perform one time, and him and Magic knew each other through Tommy's brother. And he saw us perform one day, and he's like, yo, you guys are pretty fucking ill, bro. Like, let me do a song or something with you guys. And then from there, he would eventually be part of the group. You know what I mean? So now I got a singer, 3 dope MCs, and I was just kind of like the guy who always wanted to make sure the chorus was catchy. So I was like, they would call me like the Captain Hook, you know, like the story. But I was like, if the hook ain't right, I don't want nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? So I always made sure the hook was like 1,000. You know what I mean? And for the next till like 2000, 18, 17, we would continue to rap and record. You know what I mean? Maybe more like for like the next 6, 7 years after that, we would record. And the Stone Kings kind of dissolve. We continue. And then LaFonte shows up with Bonafide. I don't know if you know LaFonte, the promoter?
No, I don't.
We'll get him in here for you, man. He's an important element, too, to everything. And but he would start Bonafide, and they would start rapping and recording now, too. And now you got the Stone Kings, Chasing the Money, and Bonafide would be like the 3 prominent groups or acts here repping the Valley.
From the family.
You know what I mean? Yeah, from the Valley. And but they would just be the groups that would put on. Like everybody was trying to rap, but you knew these guys were rapping. You know what I mean? We've already dropped all these mixtapes. We had performed at everything and anything and been on shows along with these other guys. And they were like, yo, these guys are the 3. We would be like the 3 musketeers of the Valley, the 3 hip hop groups of the Valley, to be honest with you. And we met a lot of people. It was a crazy ride, and it was fun, and got a lot of ugly chicks and whatever. But that's kind of where the Chasing the Money portion, since you asked me, and I know it's a little long, but it is. I mean, we had
That's a great story.
We had about a 10-year run when I got back, man. So, and at the same time, I'm developing me, Blaze, on Hot 99.7. You know what I mean? And I eventually would get the green light to do like a segment once a night to showcase local talent, and I would call it About to Bust. Like, yo, these are the guys that are about to blow, about to bust. I was gonna go About to Blow, but that sounds a little weird, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, they're about to blow, you know what I mean? And I was like, we're about to bust. I'm not gonna bust, man. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna do anything, I'm a bust. So plus it was also with like Bust a Flow and Bust a Rhyme and Bust, you know what I mean? So I just kind of thought, man, Bust a Flow, Bust a Rhyme. So I would do that, and I would do that for a few years, man. And eventually Top Squad would be born out of Toppenish, Germrock, and them, and another kind of new group that would add, and then eventually Suaveloke, and I don't the rookies. That's really young Suave Loc. And then Suave Loc would move forward to be with Two Season and Season Mill Records. They were kind of following Chasing the Money and CTM and Bonafide. So from us, these guys started coming, you know what I'm saying? Which was kind of cool because to this day, I'm pretty sure they still do some sort of music. Maybe not so much Top Squad, but I know Season them still dabble with the music. And it wasn't enough for me, though. I fell in love with the fact that, man, I'm so limited to putting people on that I wanted to start my own show. And I would create Block Certified Radio. And now this is a whole different point in my life. This is after Chasing the Money now. It's during, but it would like really fully develop as I start putting down the microphone of rap and start picking up a video camera and start interviewing all these artists I'm running into and showcasing still the local people. But I would also create my own radio show where I could play. It was really like my own Shade 4-5, you know what I mean? And that's where I was telling you about the studio, where I come from something like this, where we just had like one good mic and the rest were kind of broken and found, and you know, a dirty ass couch in there, at least somewhere to sit down. And you know, I still had my computers though, which was the good thing because I could record all this now audio, right? And I finally get a couple turntables, my CDJs, and I would develop another DJ, my brother Roro, who's been rocking with me since day one. I would turn him into the hood DJ Roro, you know what I mean? So he would become my official show DJ, you know what I mean? And it was a lot of weight for me. He's like, you think I can do it? And he ain't never DJ. I'm like, bro, you're going to do this and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes just to inspire people out there, sometimes you have to go into the unknown. You know, I'm sure when you started this, you didn't know how it was gonna go, or if you could even afford a camera. But damn it, you were gonna get whatever you could get your hands on or afford or whatever, and be like, I gotta start somewhere, and that's so important that you start somewhere. You know, I didn't just start on the morning show. I wasn't always Blaze from the neighborhood. I was overnight Blaze on Sunday night from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. You know what I mean? When motherfuckers were all passed out, only crackheads were listening to me at that time, and meth heads. You know what I mean? But I took advantage of that, even though, like I said, take a negative to a positive. I was like, yo, but people are getting out of the club right now. Right now, hopping in their car, turning on the radio, and they're probably going to run to their nearest store to get alcohol before you close.
Yeah.
So I would just call it the after party, you know what I mean? Shit. And I was like, I'm going to do this after party show. And I would do it for about a year, and that's where I really started building my chops. And then eventually people would leave and a new position would open for me in the evening. And I take it, of course. And that's when shit got more real for me. Like, man, this is like my third year in radio. I'm already moving into a mid-afternoon slot and evening, right? It's a good time frame. I get everybody getting out of work and I get people going to work, you know, in the evenings, you know, heading out. And not only that, 5 o'clock traffic jam was in my hands, you know what I mean? So that's a drive home when everybody, so I was just in a good power position there. And it wouldn't be till, and this is all while I'm still doing music and producing at home. And that's where I would develop Bout to Bust. That's when Bout to Bust would happen. And it just had a better time frame for everyone. And, you know, that's kind of where I think local hip hop started getting some love. The Stone Kings were getting rotation. We were getting a little bit of rotation. Bonafide would get rotation. And then it got to a point where we did this rap battle called Hype 2K. And you really wouldn't battle rap each other. You would just come in our studio and rap with your beat, your instrumental, and we would just take calls and be like, yo, you know, how many votes did they get? And basically, we would pick like 3 locals. You would sign up and they would come. And whoever got the most call-in votes would stay and move on to the next round. And that would be like almost like a 3-month kind of bracket, you know what I mean? Because we would only do it twice a week. And that's another thing Hot 99.7 started doing and giving people an opportunity to come get on air and really rap and stuff like that. And that was me, you know what I mean? That was honestly me creating this platform for our local scene because we didn't have one no matter what we would do. Yeah. And I would do that for a few years. And then I would eventually move to the morning show that didn't allow me to do it no more, which I was happy. I'd started Block Certified Radio, and that ball was in my court, something I owned, and that show would take off. Like, man, interviews and call-ins from all these artists I had met over the, 10-year span I'd already created in radio, and locals would come through, and we would do interviews there. You know, it was. This is before podcasts and all that. Like, I'm coming after Nori and Drink Champs, man, because we were doing that in '07. I got all the audio in there. I even got the footage and I got the pictures and everything. And so I was way ahead of our time. We didn't realize that at that time. We just knew that, radio's only going to let us this much do our thing. What are we going to do about it? And so me and my brother Tech, let me just go back to the 90s of the gang, man. Me and him were enemies. We were always bumping heads, bro, growing up. Years later, hip-hop would take over his life, and he wanted to kind of be part of a hip-hop movement and saw that Chasing the Money was doing this thing. And eventually he would reach out to me. And at first I didn't take him serious. I'm like, bro, that's my fucking enemy. Like, he's playing. Something ain't right about this, right? Every time we see each other, there's beef. So I avoided him a few times. And eventually one of my brothers, my close brother, like, bro, I talked to Tech again. He's really serious. And he says he knows it sounds crazy, but he wants to talk to you about some music. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give this man a shot. And from that, we would squash our old street beef and create StudioLeak.com. Back then at that time, mid-2000, about 05 something, it was popular, like, it was a popular thing where somebody would announce a new song, like a major artist, and then like a day or two later it would leak. Oh, the single leaks. And I don't know if that was done on purpose or was really happening. But
like a strategy.
Correct. Because now you got people scrambling to hear it. And if it was dope, then hopefully the rest of the album, when it finally drops, is going to be just as dope. You know, there was no real big internet about it, but that single would leak. Like now you could get anything you want way before it even leaks even at this point, right? Like it's weird now. But at that time, the leak would become popular. And we're in the studio and we're like, man, what could we need a website, and we're really going to use this website to our advantage. You know, it'll be our own site. We can customize it the way we want. We can put up our own music videos. We can put up our own songs, and this show that we just created, this 3-hour block certified radio show that we created. Like I said, it was just our version of Shade 45. You know what I mean? And so we were like, man, Studio Leak, Studio this, StudioLeak.com. Like everything happens in the studio. Even video editing happens in the studio, right? Boom, that's it. StudioLeak.com. And it was good and bad because our intention was great. Our site would happen, but when we would try to get people to do drops, they just didn't know how to say it, like StudioBreach.com. Yeah. And we're like, no, leak, like L-E-A-Y-K, like you're taking a leak. Exactly.
Hey.
So that was just never failed. Every time we run the artist, bro, to get a drop, we had to it would take a few tries to get it right, but we would get it, goddammit. And we started putting all this content on StudioLeak.com. So it would have our music videos to the mixtapes and album stuff we created. It would have our personal interviews that we did on the show. And then it even have artist interviews that I interviewed, from Paul Wall, Slim Thug, the Yin Yang Twins,
Kinda like a
MC
media hub,
Magic.
right?
Basically our own, right? Our own home for this. We were the first here in the Valley to do that. Like a lot of people would start developing their own website for their label after they saw how powerful a website could be, that you can manipulate it however you want, control it however you want. You want to leave content up there for a whole year, you could do that, you know, if whatever you want, and change it in and out however you wanted. And we did.
Crazy.
We did. We would rock for like the next 5-6 years with that.
Yeah.
Way ahead of before podcasts. Like podcasts really started getting popular maybe not about 3 years ago. Joe Rogan was smart and saw it like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you know, I could do this and get some money. And but we were the first here locally to develop that. You know what I mean? A site, a full-blown hub of your own, of you. Because we had so much content. Again, I got my studio. We're using it for all these mixtapes, and we would do visuals to those. And then you got my brother's place where we're doing all the album stuff, do visuals to those, or just set up content from the footage wherever we would perform at. So we were always constantly keeping this website updated with just everything we were doing. We were doing a new cover. Hey, check out the upcover. Like, bro, we were dropping a mixtape like once a month, dude. You know what I mean? So we just came so engulfed with this idea that it was our own hub, like you say, and we could do whatever we want on there. I went crazy. We went crazy, bro. You know what I mean? We went even harder. We're gonna go meet this artist. We're gonna go interview this guy. We're gonna go talk to that guy.
Nice.
The fucking camera.
Yeah, I know. But look, you weren't fucking around.
No, I wasn't.
But let's wrap this up. Just just this part because I know I'm gonna get you back in here
Any
when
day of the
when my
week.
fucking cameras charge more. But is there any last words, any shout outs, any artists or anything you got going
Man,
on?
we haven't even tapped into the next level. We
I
ain't
know,
even
I
tapped
know,
into
I
the neighborhood.
know.
But I'll be back, bro. And that's why I told you I talk a lot, and I have a lot of history to me. And believe it or not,
I'm here to document it because I love the story and people, young artists like you guys need to know all this. And when I hear your story, it reflects on some of the stuff I'm going through and the way
Right.
I see it.
because it's
And-
gonna take you time. You guys want, not you guys, we all do. We
Yeah.
all want this turnaround satisfaction of being acknowledged that we're dope, and then how can we be making money off of it? And really, it's gonna be longevity. There is no shortcuts in the game. If you're still trying to do shortcuts, bro, stop. Because E40 told me y'all trying to stay sharp, but you guys cut the corners, which is the sharpest part of the block on that corner where you got to turn. So you gotta not try to go through somebody's yard and there's something there waiting for you at that corner that you need to turn that's gonna transform you, bro. It's gonna develop you. It's gonna make you into a better you or wherever you're trying to get to, and you have to have that in your tool belt, or you're gonna have to come back. Like there's no skipping steps in the
skipping
game.
steps, man.
You're gonna have to come back and do it. I learned that the hard way myself, and now I'm just enjoying the longevity. But I want to let you guys go with this, man. Stay positive. Turn your negative into a positive. You can do that. Don't let that hatred and the anger that the streets have created in your heart and soul dissolve you and put you 6 feet deep, bro. Because that's what that does. If you let it, you have to just see some sort of silver lining, bro. Silver lining. When somebody passes away, that's one of those hardest times to turn something around. But me, I lost my dad like 6 years ago. So everything I do now is in his name. For all the work he did, for leaving Mexico at 15 years old and traveling all the way. I mean, he's from Jalisco, bro. You know what I mean? Like down South Mexico. And he always told me that he knew he was never going to let his kids starve in Mexico. You know what I mean? Which is the common story of every immigrante family. And, when I figured that out, man, my wings came back. The wind, I could feel it again. My energy came back. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be Blaze. Not Blaze the quitter. Not Blaze who did 7 years and stopped. Not Blaze, you know what I mean, who let a situation stop him. No, Blaze took this situation and turned it around and fueled it. And that's how I'm here, doggy. There is no shortcuts. Stay positive. Stay working. Content is the most important thing you can create at this point with anything you're trying to create. I don't care what business you're in, music or not. Everything's content. So the more content you have and the more you develop it in this time and age now, you're better off. You know what I mean? And that's like the one real advice I could give to everybody. Like, don't be in a hurry, bro. Keep developing your talent. Keep developing your skill. Keep upgrading as you go. And people who follow you are going to see your growth, and eventually they can't deny you no more. Maybe I'm not your favorite DJ, but you can't deny that I'm not one of the hottest DJs that ever existed here in the Valley. You can't deny me that no more. You can't. And I don't even got to argue with you on that. The fact that I didn't quit, the fact that I would go and hungover on 2 hours of sleep after driving back from Idaho after interviewing so-and-so and for the sake of the content for the site and still show up to work and pull off my 8-hour shift. You guys don't even know how many years I did that. I did that for geez Louise, 90% of my career, you know what I mean? And but I didn't quit even though I wanted to at times. But I'm going to let you go with that, man. And I'm proud of you, young man. I'm proud of what you're creating. I know you're the new wave of everything, but out of everybody, I see you really taking it to your next level, bro. And that's why I had to be here, bro. You know what I mean? I had to come support this young man. So Galaxii boy, man, I got to come back to talk some more. We ain't even touched
need it, bro.
anything. But I'm glad you went back to the history books, though, man, because I just wasn't Blaze all the time. You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't know.
I had to grow into Blaze. You know what I'm saying? And it would take me some time to finally be Blaze from Hot 99.7. You know, and then eventually the neighborhood spokesman Blaze. You know, and you can get it too, bro. Just stay consistent, stay working, and don't quit. That's it. That's it. That's it. Don't stop.
I appreciate
The
you
rock
coming
don't
into
stop.
the studio, the podcast. Love you guys. Love everyone that's watching live, by the way.
Get on your next level, man. That's all I'm going to leave you with right now, all right, bro? Get on your next level. Keep working to get to your next level, player. You're going to get it.
Only keeps
Hey.
you in your field.